Hello there, Pete here with another vlog. Today, well, spring is in the air, but actually you could be watching this in the middle of summer, or you could even be sitting down for your Christmas dinner, so forget I said that. But spring's always in the air here at Sizzix, so we're going to look at a brand new die set from Mr Tim Holtz. It's called Wildflower Stems #1, and there are 5 dies in the set. They're super detailed, absolutely gorgeous. I'm not going to say any more. Let the dies do the talking. Watch the video. Okay, we'll start making the first cut. I'm going to use my fold-away machine. So I'll just pop the little arms in there. And that's the die I'm going to use. I'm going to use this lovely, gorgeous daisy type flower. We'll make a sandwich. We do recommend that you cut with the die face up. So once you've got it in place, you can hold these 2 cutting plates together and just flip them like that. But with these dies, it doesn't make a whole heap of difference. It does with the more complex dies, I should say. But this is going to cut just fine, as you can no doubt see from that. And I'll take the die out. I'm going to use my lovely die brush, pop that on there. This just helps get these delicate die cuts out of the die without bending them or creasing them. And that's it. That's our first cut. Right, we've got our lovely die cut shapes. You can see I've just cut them from white card here. It's about 300 gram, and I'm going to apply color to these, but not in the normal way. Obviously, when you use these applicators, normally we work in a circular motion like that. I wouldn't recommend this with very fine die cuts. It will tend to crease or tug at it. So we're going to do something different. We're going to apply it direct by pressing into the die cut, and you'll get a very different effect, as you'll see. Now, I'm going to start with the greens, and I've got crushed olive and peel paint. Those are the only 2 greens that I have. But I also have mustard seed, which is a yellow, broken china, which is a blue, and vintage photo, which of course is a brown. We'll start with this stem, this leafy stem. And what I want to do is, taking my mustard seed, I'm just going to press, you can see, into it like so. I usually say start with the lightest colour, but sometimes you can bring this colour in again later to freshen it up slightly. So we'll take some crushed olive, which is a lovely green, which goes very, very well with just about anything in the green colour palette. Blues, yellows, but you can see we're getting a bit of contrast in there. And now I'm going to come in with peel paint. This is a darker colour. You see that sort of imperfection, that grainy quality that we get from applying the sponge like that. That's something that I'm after. That's something that I very much want for this make. Let's try bringing in some broken china. That's the blue, and it will just give it a little bit of contrast. Something a bit different. There's nothing worse than just doing green, just one single color. So start trying different combinations, messing about with this. Now, I'll take that one out just for a second, and I want to work on here. Now, you're probably thinking, oh, we don't want to get it on top of the flower. So what I'm going to do, using the card that was left over from my die cut earlier, I'm going to make a little mask, and I'm actually going to cut into that like so. So when I start applying the colour, I'm going to place that over the petals so it doesn't interfere with the flower head itself. I'm going to start with my mustard seed, that yellow, and we're going to work down towards the base. Some broken china. You see when the broken china comes into contact with the yellow, it forms another colour entirely. Crushed olive just down to the bottom. So we've got nice contrast. It's not just one colour there. And we'll take some vintage photo as well, just on the edge of some of those leaves. So we're introducing that brown, blends perfectly with the yellows, of course. And then when we take that away, there's our flower. And when we come to do the flower, we can put that there so that the colour from the flower doesn't get onto the stalk. So that's our second one done. Then thirdly, again, we want to mask off these leaves underneath. And what I can do here is I can just get that there. Now, with this one, I want to go darker. I want to start off with the peel paint. I want to get some contrast. When these are all laid against the card, they can kind of blend into one. That I want to avoid at all costs. I do want some contrast. So we've worked with the peel paint at the top, coming down with the mustard seed there. And that's that. And I want to use the darker one because the colour I'm going to use for the top is quite delicate. Now, at this point, it's probably best that I take some tissue and I wipe away any excess colour. You can use your spritzer as well. Spritz some water on there and it will take all of that colour off because we're working with some rather delicate colours next time around. Right, we're back with some slightly different colours this time, and I want to do the daisy head, and I'm going to place this card here over the stalk. It doesn't really matter too much this time because I'm starting with my mustard seed, which is my yellow, and I really want to press this into that white card. I want to get that sunshine popping out from me, concentrating more towards the center, and then I'm taking Rusty Hinge. Now you'll notice that the way I'm applying color is imperfect. It's not absolutely spot on. That doesn't matter. Not for this one, not for this make. I want a kind of a painted, almost like a watercolor effect going on. So that's Rusty Hinge and mustard seed. Bring in a bit more mustard seed just to knock that back. So that's my daisy. You can see, oh, maybe we can come in with a bit of mustard seed on the stalk there as well. So that's the daisy. Little spritz there. Take off that yellow and orange so that it doesn't transfer to the next one. And this one is a little more subtle. But again, we're coming in with, doesn't really matter if this transfers down the stalk. Again, it's broken china, and I'm going very light to start off with. Very delicate. I want that sort of yeah, it's like a cornflower, isn't it? That's the type of colour we're going for. So I'm concentrating a little more around the edges. And then shaded lilac. Now you'll probably notice that I haven't got an applicator for shaded lilac. I forgot it, but you know what? We're going to improvise. That's the beauty of crafts and card making, whatever you call it. We can take whatever we have to hand. And I'm taking some of this tissue paper and I'm getting a little contrast with the lilac and the blue. So I'm popping that in. Oh, that's gorgeous. That's really, really coming together. Fabulous. Oh, that's really nice. So there we have it. It probably worked to my advantage actually, using that tissue paper. So there you go. Those are 3 flowers. Now, before I do anything else, what I'm going to do is take my lovely spritz or mister, whatever you wish to call it, and I'm just going to add a light spray. What that will do is help the colours blend together. It will also give it a grainy quality, and I'm going to use my tissue paper just to lift off some of that colour there. Now, if you wanted further contrast, you could go around the edges of the leaves using say for example vintage photo or walnut stain or one of those darker colors, but right now these are exactly where I want them to be. They're a bit delicate. You can let them dry, or you can use your heat tool as well. Those are my 3 stems, and you can put those against white card. They look gorgeous. Against black card, they look fantastic. They really punch out. So we'll lay those down and we shall attach them to our base card. And here it is. you can see what we've done here. I've attached them. I've sort of bent some of these petals and leaves up just to add a little bit of dimension, bit of contrast. I've used a very deep teal colour for the background, and I've stuck them down with PVA. I've knotted some twine around the base there, and then I've attached it to the base card using 3D foam pads. And those are dies from Wildflower Stems #1, and these are some of the dies from Wildflower Stems #2. I particularly love this foliage here. They're all gorgeous, to be honest with you. There are 5 in a set. It's hard to boil it down to 3. It really is. But the choice, of course, will ultimately be yours. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more from these sets in the coming weeks and months. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that. It's just a little insight into the beautiful detail and some of the colour that you can add to these gorgeous wildflower dies. There is another set on the way called Wildflower 2, believe it or not. So check that out as well. And if you want any more inspiration or you want to find out more about the Sizzix dies, go to sizzix.co.uk or download the app. It's great. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye.